Oh, Alex, I heard you have vertigo. I've got Vertigo too. That's right, Vertigo 2. We're talking about that. We're reviewing that. This is Play PSVR 2, the podcast. It is Adam and Alex, your favorite duo. We're coming in hot. We're coming in heavy. We've got shout outs. We've got news. We've got game reviews, Gazzlers. Like I said, Vertigo 2. We've got some hot takes. We've got some sales. We've got some new releases. We've got everything in this episode, Alex. What are you most looking forward to in the next hour?
Listening to you talk about Vertigo 2 and getting really excited about it and then playing it.
My gamer juice is Belvoir Farm organic elderflower lemonade. It's a whole thing. Also, if you're watching the YouTube stream, I apologize. As I am moving, I accidentally forgot and I already packed up my lights. So it's a little darker in here than normal. Maybe that makes me look like Batman. Hey Alex, who is so stunning and took away and swept your mom off her feet? Batman, I'm Batman.
I like your nervous Batman who stumbles over his own name. they call me the Dark Knight.
It's because I'm afraid your daddy's gonna find out.
I think his first time breaking up a bank robbery. Just...
Get cash. I'm Batman.
You better watch out. I'm coming. I'm gonna come and get you. Batman.
I'm gonna come.
Adam, let's move it on. What's your gamer juice, you big weirdo?
I already told you what it was.
Well, I forgot. I wouldn't listen. I was looking at my gamer juice.
Oh, it's good. It's 19 grams of sugar, not awful. It's elderflower lemonade.
Okay. I went to Publix also today, Adam. I got a Petey's. It's called Bing. It's called Bing.
Oh, Bing.
Like the search engine. It's made with black cherry juice.
I was gonna say Bing Crosby, but okay.
It's a little sputum of Bing Crosby in here.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think it's just going to be some offshoot of Red Bull. I don't think it's going to taste very good, but let's put it down. It's very red. Very red. It tastes like almost like cough medicine. What other cherry flavored things are there, right? Like cough medicine.
Lozenges. Yeah. By the way, I'm not drinking this, but I think there is a shout out I want to give. I tried this stuff today called Poppy. It is a prebiotic soda. And what I like about it is it's 7% juice. It's from concentrate, but whatever. And there's only 5 grams of sugar, 25 calories. It actually tasted pretty dang good. Not as good as orange soda, but a dang close second, especially for the stuff that isn't in there. So
what does prebiotic mean?
There's stuff in there that for your gut. I don't know.
Jamie Lee Curtis poop drinks.
I don't know about that. Who's Jamie Lee Curtis?
She's a famous actress from like the 80s and 90s, and she is the spokesperson for a probiotic yogurt company. And
did she develop Vertigo 2?
She developed Vertigo 2? How'd you know? What a segue. No, we got fan shout-outs first, Adam. Adam, fan shout-outs. We got our homeboy, Matthew Packard, saying, happy 2024 to you both. Thanks for another fun podcast. In this new year, I hope you re-rank all of the PSVR games that are on PSVR 2 to how you would rank them for someone who never played the PSVR versions. I think that's a great idea, Adam.
That's a wonderful. We are going to do that. We're not doing it this episode, but in the future, when we have a chunk of time, dude, that's a good idea.
It's a good. We should bring him on for it if he's willing to join. And also a link to where we can see the latest rankings. Right now, our rankings list is a very personal list. However, I think if we don't figure out some website to put it on, our website went down. I think we have a Substack or something, Adam, we could leverage to host just text for free. Or we could just put the link to the Google Sheet on YouTube and make
we'll make one that's public and If they
Yeah.
jack it up, well, that's their problem. But our personal list isn't going to be touched.
I'll also put my Venmo in there as well in case you want to send me some cash.
Yeah, right. F off. Okay, next one.
Void Citizen. Alex Arashi got really good reviews because there was nothing else to play on PSVR 1 at the time.
Boom
Okay.
roasted.
I knew this was going to come, but the reality is that even bad games are going to get reviewed poorly. Arashi's not good, or Arashi's not good because there's nothing else around at the time. Arashi's good just because it does a really good job of what it's trying to do. I mean, we're also used to cookie cutter games and cookie cutter engines and cookie cutter gameplay design. Sometimes you got to take the game on its own terms, break the mold. All that glitters is old. Only shooting stars break the mold. Rest in peace, Smash Mouth. Adam, what's his third comment here?
So J Devil says, "Hey, I'm gonna go easy on this week. That based on he normally makes fun of me, and for once, I'm gonna back Adam up. Alex Mike's sucks, which is I think hilarious. His green screen is twice as bad. This guy looks like he's double arm amputee half the time as he disappears into his green screen. Love the show. I
The
think
only
it's
reason I'm a double arm amputee is because I'm elbow deep in your auntie. That was
Oh,
lewd.
I think it's actually, I think it's hilarious. I think you sound fine. I don't know what, but I love it that people, and they know the between when you first posted this, Alex was like, well, people, they always mess up between you and me. They don't know which one is which. And I'm like, these people listen enough. And especially if they're commenting on YouTube, they know which one is Alex and which one is Adam. Your mic sucks. And again, just like last week, it could be that your takes are just so bad and your opinions are such trash that makes your voice sound bad. But really, it's just your opinions, you know? So take heart in that, Alex.
And then he said, love the show.
Well, that's because there's another absolute freaking stud on the other end of this podcast. Man, Batman's on there.
Batman.
Batman. All right, I'm going to get into it because as I was talking about hot takes, I got Vertigo 2 coming up. I was talking about bad takes. I got Vertigo 2 coming up. Probably going to get reamed, but it is what it is. Alex, are you ready to hear what I think about Vertigo 2?
Let me see. Are we doing that?
Yeah. I have a full review. We don't need the whole fancy music. Here's the thing. I do, as you know, gaming is in session. I do want you to rise, Alex, because I am, of course, the honorable Adam. I do take the stand. I reign over our gaming opinions. And if the games are worth playing, that's right. It's my ultimate conclusion on Vertigo 2 versus the PSVR 2. Will the game rise to glory and be an all-time winner, or is it going to whimper away into the annals of PSVR 2 libraries? Well, we got to look at the evidence, Alex. On the first count, there's 3 of them of little things make big things happen. I want to review the prosecution's case here. The best thing about indie games is often the details that make it clear that the developer poured their heart and their soul into the game. And this is true for Vertigo 2. The creativity in enemy types is pretty good. And I got a couple laughs from the enemies. Like, for example, there was a case where I was chasing this enemy and I didn't really get a good look at them because they're running away. And then I finally got to the point where I got close enough to get a good look. And he had like a Hank Hill butt on the behind of him. It's just really funny. I didn't expect it. And it was just funny. He's like a little alien guy. That's good stuff. Some of the gameplay scenarios are pretty creative, and the game does a good job always changing the environment and the atmosphere to keep things interesting for you. The difficulty was good. The game was, for me, first time player, over 10 hours. So what you're paying for, you're getting one of the longest PSVR 2 games, I believe, that we have, right? Probably top 5, I think, in value getting when you purchase the game. And it had this really cool encyclopedia when you went and you looked, you found an enemy, you beat an enemy. And it's something you could totally miss. You never need to go into the encyclopedia, but if you do, the developer put just cool, creative entries for each enemy, something they didn't need to do, something that's really detailed. And again, it kind of shows that they put their heart into this. It's something that maybe no one would ever read. I would argue most people probably don't, but a nice little addition that ramps up the experience for the player. So, because of those things, on the counts of little things make big things happen, I do have to find Vertigo 2 guilty. Alex, you have a moment to cross exam if you have any thoughts or questions on the first count.
So I'm hearing that the game is lengthy, that the game has a lot of surprises.
And surprise! Where'd you get that? No surprise.
Like the little things, like funny stuff is popping up as you're going through it.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call that a surprise, but okay, you've clarified. Okay.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things here. I kind of know where you're going with this review, Adam, and I'm disappointed, but
you don't know anything. What are you talking about?
I don't have much to say right now, but I'll cede my time and visit you again after you have something negative to say.
You don't have anything on me. You get out of here. Okay, since for the first time, Alex is speechless, mind blown, but good. We're going to move on in this court case. On the single count of big things prevent or make little things inconsequential. Big things make little things inconsequential. I have to review the evidence with you, Alex. I'm going to start with the obvious and take heart that these things, I believe, a lot of these can be fixed. But the game just doesn't run well. Even after the month-long delay in bug fixes, which was certainly needed, thank gosh they did that, I still ran into you could argue, game-breaking bug. I ran into a point where there was a glitch, there was a bug, it clearly shouldn't have happened, and so I had to restart the game, re-download the game, and then when I did it, I lost 2 hours of gameplay. So I had to replay those 2 hours to get to that same point. Then it worked, but so I was able to finish the game, but it's still like it's not there. Again, hopefully those things can be fixed. I gotta say the voice acting is absolutely abysmal. Not that it matters much, to be quite honest. You can't understand the aliens at all. The setup of the game is maybe the worst setup I've ever seen in a game that actually has some type of plot to it. But the story it doesn't matter because the story makes no sense. By the end of the game, there were so many plot holes and just things in the people you met and storylines that didn't go anywhere, that had no explanation. It wasn't like a cliffhanger. It was just wasn't answered. And I'm like, what? It left a very empty feeling when I got over and finished the game. It didn't feel great. Then there were little things that really prevent you from enjoying the game. With a game with so much walking, you know what? How about you add a function to run? All right. The tracking at times was jacked to high heavens. Like, for example, there were a few kind of these instances where I'm in the back of a boat and I'm holding on to a grappling gun and I've got to shoot stuff that's coming my way. Right. And so for the first 30 seconds, it's fine. You're standing there, you're in VR in your room and you're just using, the grappling gun. But then as time progresses after that 30 seconds, the tracking jacks up, and in the game, you start moving away from the gun, even though you're still stationary. And so your arms get longer and longer, and then it gets to the point where you can't really use them again. You have to let go. Sometimes you're able to walk back up to the gun and progress. That obviously shouldn't happen. It even continues to happen after they fix the game and did the update. It doesn't work right, makes some things very difficult. And then all of these things put together soiled what could have been a really good experience, and just it could have made it better. Again, some of these can be fixed, some of them can't, but because of that, on the counts of big things make little things inconsequential, I do got to find you, Vertigo 2, Guilty. Now I'm sure you're going to have something to say.
This isn't the first time you've brought up tracking as being an issue in a PSVR 2 game. Um, and it's not the first time that tracking has been an issue for you, but not really mentioned by others. What was a game recently that you played and you said the track it was a game I liked and I wanted you to play it, and you said the tracking was so bad and you couldn't play it? It wasn't Arizona Sunshine 2.
It was Light Brigade.
Light Brigade. So I do wonder if there's something going on with you. But aside from that,
I mean, it's only 2 games of all the games I've played. Played Resident Evil 2 or 4 or whatever it was. For how long? No issues. Not a single.
Let's say that it's Vertigo 2's fault.
Which I think it is. I can play tennis on court and not have issues.
Well, that's why I said let's say it. Yeah, that's why I said let's say it's Vertigo 2's fault.
Okay.
So were these myriad glitches fixed? Would it make you like the game a lot more? Would it give you a better understanding of why people are praising the game as highly as they praise it? Because I mean, this is a game that has come out and is heralded as maybe the best thing since Half-Life Alyx. Definitely better than Resident Evil 4 remake. The VR game of the year, except people just didn't know it existed.
That is an airing a grievance right there. But to answer your question, it would have made my experience with the game better. Would I have put it above Resident Evil 4? I mean, that type of stuff doesn't change the plot, right? It doesn't change what I'm going to argue in my next point, but it would have made playing the game less painful. Being able to run, not having glitches, and having to replay hours worth of gameplay that I've already done. And then again, I'm not holding them accountable for before the patch and before the month-long updating, because that's not fair. But before then, there were a lot of issues. But it again, that stuff can be fixed with software. But the plot, the voice acting, the other stuff I'm going to mention here shortly, those things would not have made a difference. So I would have enjoyed it more. It would not have raised it that much.
I will say I've seen a handful of reviews of this. One just basically seemed like somebody copied their PC version review and just said, yep, it's the same on PSVR 2. Another review did mention that, hey, even though they patched it, there's still bugs. There's a bit more work that needs to be done to make this game smoother. So I don't think you're alone in saying that kind of stuff is happening. I'm still going to get the game. I still need to try it. I look forward to arguing with you about it. But let's go on to your third.
I'm not even done with my third. You're jumping the gun. I'm moving on. I'm
sorry.
You're not going to like this. No one's going to like this. But, here's the thing, Alex. The final count, the 2 counts of thinking with my big head, not my little head. I love indie games. I really do. I love the small development teams. I love when people pour their heart and soul into things. That's why we have I won't say a lot of them. We try to get the smaller teams onto the show when we can, because it's just cool meeting the people and they're not being a huge studio who only cares about money. I love that. But regardless of how I feel about the single person development team, how the history of the people, what other people think the game, how good the game is, it came out, I don't know how long ago, but say it came out 2 years ago. Again, I have no idea. Maybe back then it was like something novel, new, and it was Half-Life Alyx like, but I'm reviewing it now and I'm reviewing it unbiased. I'm looking at it objectively. Even though I'm thrilled it's a one-person development team, that should not change the way I view, is this a good game or is it not? Mind you, it is not a bad game. But is this an experience you are going to remember on the PSVR 2? And if that's something you want, in my opinion, you find another game. There's some indie charm here, but it's not that exciting. To me, nothing novel is being done here. The reason indie games are fun, in my opinion, is because they go off on a limb and they do something unique that we've never seen before. And it's just something different and new. Stifled brought echolocation into horror. Vertigo Home provided more laughs than I think you and I have ever had in VR, Alex. the before your eyes brought a unique concept to like blinking into gameplay that's never been done before. Those things are what I feel like indie games really pride themselves are. Even, I mean, if you want to consider maybe Stunt Kite Masters is indie, you love that game. It brought a level of relaxation and honestly some gameplay and a concept that to this day no one has replicated. It stands on its own, being the only kite flying game in VR, and that's what makes it special. What does Vertigo 2 do that is different? I would argue nothing. It does some stuff well, but I would argue it's like a bad version of Trover Saves the Universe. It's not as funny. It's longer. It's got some things on Trover, but nothing did I see it and be like, wow, this is VR. In fact, near the end of the game, I was ready. I was definitely ready for it to be over. I was like, again, it's not a bad game, but I just don't see what it provides. I don't understand how people can relate it and say it's the best VR game ever. It's better than Resident Evil. I don't understand. And maybe when you play it, you can shed some light. What does it do that's different and better than everything else? I don't see it. But good time to good value, fair, good length, good save points, good difficulty. I've already mentioned in the first point a lot of the things it does well. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I give it I would say I'd give it a 6 out of 10. So on the counts of thinking with my big head, not my little head, I do have to find Vertigo 2 guilty. You get one moment to cross examine, and then I'll give the final verdict and we'll put it on the list.
I didn't expect that I would resonate with your arguments as well as I am, but I do find this happening a lot in just video games in general, right? I've been playing games for a long time, and when I think back about what games I like have the strongest memories for, it's not something that's extremely polished and feels great. Like an Uncharted 1. It's something that was like fun and kind of broken and kind of a mess, but for some reason I just can't let go of it in my memories, like Shinobi on PlayStation 2 or Bionic Commando on Xbox 360, games people hated, but they swung for the fences and did something different, and then you remember that difference. And what you're describing to me is Vertigo 2 being a game where somebody's like, I'm going to make a first-person shooter in VR, and it is technically just fine. Apparently, maybe it's not, but more or less, technically just fine.
Once they fix those issues, technically you're correct. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. From a game design perspective, technically it's just fine. And what you end up with is an all right first-person shooter that was probably, a couple generations behind from first-person shooters now because you have this VR tax in terms of what you're able to do. And that's great. So that leads me to my last question for you, Adam, is Vertigo 2 or Farpoint? Which one has a better single-player campaign?
Oh, gosh. Farpoint is tough because you have that aim controller, and that almost single-handedly can make or break a game. Am I considering the aim controller with Farpoint?
Let's just say no.
That's a freaking killer. Am I considering the motion controllers with Farpoint then?
No, you just the game. The experience.
You're freaking killing. I would still give it to Farpoint because of the graphics. I mean, the single player campaign of Farpoint isn't like fantastic, but I have yet to play a game I think like Farpoint. Red Matter and Red Matter 2 come close, but there's not as much combat, or Farpoint with much more combat. I may be forgetting one or two, but again, this Vertigo 2 reminds me of Trover Saves the Universe. It reminds me of Rick and Morty. It reminds me of even those games, like not tentacular, like in that concept, but it has that concept where it's kind of a funny game. And then there's some combat associated to it. That kind of, you just see it. And again, I think it's fair that people have nostalgia, and I should look it up actually while we're talking. When did this game come out? Because if it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know how old the game is, then it may have been, game changing and been brand new and novel and would have, blown people's nips off. But right now,
last year, it came out August or
Okay,
April of
see,
last
that
year.
wasn't
Yeah.
long. Maybe people played Vertigo, and I'm assuming maybe this is at least somewhat of a spiritual sequel, at least. So maybe I don't know what it is. I don't see it. Again, it's not a bad game. It's just like I played Synapse, Alex. Synapse does something no game is done. That I was like, this is friggin' amazing. That left something in my mind. That makes me really happy. That makes me want to play it. This thing, by the time I got to hour probably 6, I was like, dude, just end it. Way too long. It's the same thing. Like, yeah, it's how I feel.
Well, I'm wrong. It came out in 2019. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
2019.
5 years. Okay. So then that's more reasonable. Maybe back
Yeah.
then, like if we had this on PSVR, and it was one of the first PSVR games, okay, I think then I could see how I would be like, that's a game changer. That's a good game. But where we are now, it's like playing if you played I don't this is probably bad for you because you're a freaking nerd, but if you play like a GameCube game, it might still be good, but now it's not like as good. It doesn't look as good. The concepts aren't
Yeah.
new
No.
anymore.
I tried to play Time Splitters the other day, and it just didn't click with me anymore because the enemies were all on the same axis as you. Nobody was looking in the Z direction or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I think about Vertigo 2. Be curious to what you see as I'm putting it on the list. Here's the thing, Alex. Is it better than Arizona Sunshine 2? And that's difficult. I didn't play that game. And it's you just like games more than me in general. So I'm tempted to put this below Arizona Sunshine 2. So it would be at number 13 on our list. But do you think this would be better than Arizona Sunshine 2?
I mean, I haven't played the game at all. I haven't touched it one
Yeah.
minute, but people talk like it's, potentially better than Resident Evil 4.
That is just I need to see who these people are. I mean, if you don't like horror games, I could see it, certainly, but I mean, the controls are worse, the graphics are worse, the visceral response is worse. I can't think of a single area, a single parameter, a facet of this game that is better than Resident Evil. Either one of them. Like I can't. I don't.
How about this? Is it better than Hubris? Because to me, this and Hubris seem like a kind of in a tight race.
Yes,
in terms of
I do
for.
agree with that. And Hubris wasn't as long, and it didn't like its plot wasn't even like really existent. So this is why I put it above Hubris. And Tennis on Court still has that jank, and it's got some bugs, and that's why I'm also being generous and putting this above that, which is why it's got to be above Tennis on Court, and then the next game for us is Arizona Sunshine 2, which you liked. I'm gonna.
I mean, I don't want to tell you where to put it, but to me, putting Arizona Sunshine 2 at number 12 is like, it's a really good game. And I don't have much bad to say about it. It's just not as phenomenal as like Synapse or something. That's why that's in its current position. So if you're wanting to put a game above it, then to me, you're saying this is actually a very, very excellent game. It's just not quite in the elite level.
Okay, we'll put it behind Arizona Sunshine 2, which is kind of what I wanted. What?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. That lasted longer than I thought it would, but people like Vertigo too. I'm sure I'm going to get ripped a new one. But hey, I can't. I'm sorry, dog. Like that's the way I feel. I like Synapse. From what I played at Synapse, I like it a lot. So that's good stuff. Alex,
wait, is it hung guilty or
oh,
not
that's
guilty?
a good point. Yeah. I'm gonna have to put it at hung, and I think it would be hung either way. A big reason why I have it at hung is because everyone else loves it. So I admit maybe there's something I don't get. Maybe, I don't want this to sound like I don't want this to come off wrong, but especially like as I get older, I value my time a lot. So if you aren't going to do something that's novel, that's new, that's well done, you're wasting my time. And in my review process, it should show that. Whereas Synapse, I've never seen that. Controls are tight. It's fun. Resident Evil, I mean, when we go through the whole top 10, those kind of demand my time. Those are must plays. If I don't, I'm an idiot. Thank you for convincing me to buy it, Alex. I am glad that one of your opinions actually have come through. And again, I haven't finished the game, but I mean, it's very. I mean, it might be better than Pavlov. You should have maybe. I would put it above Song in the Smoke right now. For me, right now, it's already top 5. But anyhow, moving on.
Yeah. My biggest issue with Synapse is that it's really short, and that's me saying it, right? The guy who likes short games. It's pretty short.
Okay.
You got to beat it you got to beat it 3 times. You get the full story. It's done, but you get there quick. Luckily, it's still fun to replay. But Adam, we do need to move on. You sent me a package. My last Christmas gift finally came in.
That's right. Well, so this I actually bought after we opened stuff because I realized that I missed something. Like I wanted to buy something and I didn't. I even referenced
Can I look at
once. It? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, rip her open.
Even referenced it once. Oh,
yeah.
All right.
I always get him Dragon Ball Z stuff. Wait, what?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. It's supposed to be little Legos, right?
It's a little Lego Krillin. Yeah, little Lego Krillin. There's another one, but I can't see who it is because the label's blocking it.
I don't.
Was it Piccolo?
I don't know the characters.
No, I think that's also Krillin, or it might be like Tien.
I definitely didn't get 2 Krillins because I know who Krillin is. I got someone else. I don't know who it is. But yes, there's your mandatory Dragon Ball Z gift.
Mandatory Dragon Ball Z gift. What's the mandatory gift for you? Is it something Kingdom Hearts? Is that what it needs to be? Do I need to promote that bad habit of yours?
Maybe it should be Nier Automata.
Nier?
I don't know
where Nier stuff.
I love that little stupid plush meal head you got me. It's always right there. I don't know what I did with it. But dude, it's
floating around.
Yeah, I think it may get back there. But dude, yeah, no, okay, sweet. So now you should be totally done. We've got a little time here, Alex. I'm curious which one of these things. So I'll just share Madison VR came out with a new trailer video. And first of all, the graphics look amazing. It looks very Resident Evil-esque, like the graphical fidelity, the atmosphere, just it looked good. It looked very good. Now, it's like one of my complaints, I suppose, is it's like an 8-minute long trailer, but nothing really happens. And that almost worries me a little bit because, Resident Evil, the other games, they show what they got, right? And I know this is supposed to be a horror game, but this looked a bit dull. There was no action. You were just kind of walking. It did look scary. Like I said, it looked kind of like Resident Evil. So this gives me hope. I also wonder, they keep boasting that scientifically the scariest game of all time, but I don't know what that means. How can you scientifically determine if something is scary or not, let alone the scariest, because that's totally objective or subjective. Sorry, it's subjective. I don't get it.
Have you tried reading the paper about it being scary?
Do you think I'm going to read? I've got a busy life, Alex. I'm playing games. I'm sitting here playing Vertigo 2 for 18 hours to finish it, and I'm playing Synapse. Yeah, dude, get out of here.
It was awarded by the Science of Scare Project, is what gave it the VR, the designation of scariest game of all time. I don't know what the Science of Scare Project is, but that's so
you're telling me what I want is they hook up EKGs and crap to people. They play Madison VR, and then they play a Resident Evil 7. And you're telling me the bio levels for Madison VR are going to be higher. I ain't buying it, but we'll see.
So what they do is, I've just read now, it's a group called Broadband Choices or something. They run an experiment every year called the Science of Scare Project to scientifically find the scariest pieces of cinema, video games by measuring the heart rate. So what they do is they measure people's heart rates playing video games, and Madison VR gave them the most elevated heart rate.
They didn't play no Resident Evil, baby. I would be curious to see what games they did test, right? Because that makes a big difference. If you're playing Tentacular, okay, yeah, it's not.
It's Probably got to be like PC VR games. That's where these research labs always end up doing this stuff. It looks like. I just watched the trailer while you were talking about it, Adam. I'm sure the game's going to be fun. I kind of check out on some of these horror games where you don't have weapons, like where you can't fight, because
Yeah,
playing
I
hide and
agree. Like
seek.
Amnesia. I lost
Yeah,
interest in Amnesia very quick.
playing hide and seek is only so fun for so long, and then when you're just like this totally incapable, always on the run protagonist, I don't know. Something about the roller coaster of feeling really powerful, then feeling really weak, then feeling really powerful, then really weak, like Resident Evil does to you. That's fun for me. Not so fun to just always be like a moment away from getting rocked.
I think the thing is with those type of games is I mean, I guess you can lose. Technically, you can die, but you don't feel it, right? But when
Mm-hmm.
you defend yourself, like in Resident Evil, you trick yourself. Like, I'm defending myself. They're coming after me. I have a chance to like survive, but I don't want to die. But if you
Yeah.
already know you don't really have a way to defend yourself, it's just like it's kind of meant for me to die. Like you lose that
Yeah.
response. And
You're
you're
right.
right. It's tough.
The like nothing is more horrifying than like in Resident Evil when you're shooting the enemies and whatnot, and you think you're doing good, then you run out of bullets, and then they're close to you, and you're like, "Fine, I'll reload," and you reload, and you like miss the clip or something like that, or you forget to pull back the chamber, and it's just like those things start piling up, and you start making error after error, and then before you know it, you're getting attacked. That is what's really scary. Not I'm walking around with a camera, and the ghost pops up out of nowhere, and that was a jump scare. It's scary. Like that stuff doesn't really get from me too much. So
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's also more predictable, right? Like
yeah.
when you don't have anything else to do, you just start being like, well, around that corner, there's probably an enemy. Whether there is or
Yeah.
not, you're like braced for it. But if you're running or again you're defending yourself or you have other stuff to think about, they'll catch you off guard more. So uh it looks good. I have hope, but I'm somewhat concerned too. I don't know. I'm ready for it to come out though. I'm definitely going to play it.
Yeah. Adam, I do want to just mention one thing. We got like 1 minute left in the segment. You heard about the Unreal Engine VR mod that came out, right?
No.
So somebody made a mod that can be applied to all games that have the Unreal 4 engine, and it makes them VR possible. This is only for PC stuff, but the one important part is that somebody applied this mod to that Sackboy's Great Adventure or whatever that came out for PS5, and it looks incredible, Adam. It looks incredible in VR. Do you think they're going to make this game in VR for PSVR 2 now that they've seen it in practice?
This needs to be more discussion. Let's break and then talk about it next segment.
All right.
Blammo! If you thought the last segment was fire, holy crap, wait till this one. We've got hot ladies, we've got sales, we've got Gazzlers, we need to end the discussion because you rocked my world with this Unreal Engine 4 thing. So let's just dive right into it, Alex. I always feel bad that the people look to us for answers on what to and what not to buy. And we always shove it at the end of the episode where we have to rush through it. It is time to do our due diligence, do it for the people, and do the sales right now. Take our time. I'm not going to belabor the point, right? But I would like to cover them and not have to absolutely rush. Do we even have any sales? I guess is the first thing.
We got sales, but PS prices is going real slow right now trying to load it. There we go. We got sales, man. Tell me if are you ready? I'm ready when you are.
Let's effing go.
All right. We have Operation Wolf Returns First Mission VR for $17.99.
Holy crap. I'm going to join Operation Save $17.99 and use it for something worthwhile.
Ouch. Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue for $17.99.
Just open your curtain and say hello, neighbor, because that would be more fun than the game. Maybe they're taking a shower.
Killer with Fire VR. Killer with Fire VR for $8.99.
No. Kill the deal. Get out of there. Don't take that
Kill
deal.
the deal. Townsman VR for $24.79.
This is my fault. I have had the demo downloaded on my PSVR for a month and I have yet to play it. I need to quit being a wiener, play it. I think it has potential, but it could also not be worth the full price. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
It's one of those games, and we'll talk about another game like it where I'm sure if I put like 2 hours into it, I would be enamored and I would be like, yeah, let me have some more. I love it. But something about this type of game, like the city building or the strategy or something, I just know that it's a slow burn before you start really enjoying it. And that keeps me from like even starting it because it's like, I'm not going to start it unless I have 4 hours of free time in front of me so that I can really get into this and then continue to play the game. So for that, I'm going to say no. Yeah.
Okay.
It could be a fantastic game, but Signalis, that Ghost Signal Signalis game, that's the same kind of thing. It just, I need to put time into it to get really motivated. Tentacular for 16.24.
I think you would say do that.
I would say do that for sure. Yeah. Tentacular also has a platinum trophy, which is worth it for people. Angry Birds VR Isle of Pigs for $12.99.
I'm going to give you an Angry Bird. It's between four of my other fingers. Please don't play this. Unless you have a kid, there's no reason. Please don't. I value your time more than that.
Moss Book 1 for $12.99.
I would rather buy a book, find some moss outside, and it's cold. It's 12 degrees here, all right? Go outside, find some moss, throw it in a book. And you know what? Before you even ask, I'll find a second book and I'll throw moss in that one too.
So no.
No, you should have already played it. No.
B99 for $9.74.
B99?
Yeah, B99 overclocked.
Is it a B99 bomber? That's not right. What's that from?
Just say it again. Maybe it'll jog my memory.
B99 bomber. Oh, it's B something.
B52.
B52 bomber. That's not right.
What are you quoting? What is?
It's a game. It's a game. It's like from Atari. B66. I'm gonna like.
Say it one more time, and we're gonna move on to another game.
It's B66 Destroyer. I can't tell. No, we can't. One sec. I'm so close.
Riveting podcast, is it
B66? Adam. Maybe it's B66 Bomber. Bomber. How do you spell Mattel? B17. B17 Bomber. There it is. It's a game made by Mattel. It was like for the Atari.
That was worth it, Adam. Red Matter 2 for $19.49.
You really liked it. It's combat kind of sucks. Looks good. Gosh, between Vertigo 2 and this, I think they're neck and neck for me as like the type of games I like to play.
And this is a cheaper one too. Yeah, I mean, Red Matter 2 is just tried and true. It's a very, very, very good game. It's just kind of one note.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like it overstays its welcome either, which is nice. So I don't know. Probably worth it if you got a little extra time. I feel like we don't have a ton of releases right now. Of course, Vertigo 2 is coming out soon, so then that might fill their time. But anyhow, move on.
Moss Book 2 for $12.99.
I told you what you can do with your Moss and your book.
What can you do with Horizon Call of the Mountain for $39.59?
I wouldn't mind playing it. I'm not going to pay $40 for a 3-hour long game. I'm not doing it. Like
it needs to be a PlayStation Plus premium free game is what it needs to be.
100%. The fact that it hasn't already been is actually shameful. You Cerny, if you're listening, you should be ashamed. We should be CEOs. We would have made that decision the second week we were on the job.
We call it a tech demo because we have to pay $60 for it. And then at that price, it feels like a tech demo. However, if it were out free, kind of like Astro's Playroom or whatever it is on PS5, it's about the same amount of content, and that was free, and people loved it. And people would get a PS5 just to play that game, just like people would get a PSVR 2 just so they can play some Horizon. And then they start buying more stuff. So I think
That's
there's no
actually
reason.
a fantastic pitch. Wow, that was
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
Yeah, I should have been CEO of Sony, right? We agree.
That's the best thing that's come in or out of your mouth in a long time.
I've had some pretty great things going in. Humanity for 1979.
I don't even know what you said. I lost it. What?
Humanity for 1979.
B-17 bomber. Humanity, you definitely you need to play, but it was free. Like, come on, don't
Yeah.
buy it. Wait till it's. I mean, it's still free on PlayStation Plus. Go get it for free.
Waltz of the Wizard for 13.99.
Might be fun, but I'm gonna personally pass. It's not the price. It's just, do I want another Wizard game? I personally don't. So
For 13.99, I'd rather see the Whiz of the Walter. Moving on, Before Your Eyes, 11.24.
I think that's a good price. Probably the best price you're going to get on it. It is a unique game. I didn't cry like Alex does for every sentimental game, but it's unique enough that I would say, yeah, play that. Essentially $10. That's worth it.
I might cry right now just thinking about it. Firewall Ultra, 29.99. Yeah. Do you want to pay $30 to buy a game that has been announced to be closing in like a month?
Yeah, I'm man, that would suck if people didn't listen to the podcast and they actually bought it, like some newbie.
Why is it still in the store, right?
Yeah.
The fact, like, they should have taken it off the store 1,000% when they knew they were shutting down, right?
Yep.
Res Infinite for 22.49.
Got to play it. You got to play it. You should have it for free. If you don't, to me, it's a must play. Man, and I haven't played that in a while, Alex. I need to jump back into Area X.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. What about Tetris Effect Connected for 29.99?
Garbage. Absolute trash. No, don't pay 30. Is appalling to pay $30 for that.
And for the last one, I have 3 letters for you, Adam. D-me-o. D-me-o for 29.99.
And I've got 2 letters for you. N-O. No, I mean, it just
no. You hate it so much for.
I know I do hate it for a reason. There's no save feature. Each game takes like 4 freaking hours. It's way too difficult unless you know or play with someone who cheeses the system. The people I have played with, not our friends, but the randos that I joined, they all seem a little weird. Not in like the quirky, charming weird, but like the, is there a kid trapped in their basement weird? I don't like it. It's not good. It's boring. There's so little redeeming qualities. It has, if they change stuff up, it would be a good play. It needs a save feature. It needs difficulty features. And without those, it ruins the whole experience.
Yeah. I have fun playing it. My thing is that for the people out there that they want a game that's going to take up a lot of your time, Demio will fit the bill, right? Like I could play Demio a lot. If I have a lot of time to kill, I could play a lot of Demio.
I've got 3 characters for you. RE4. Boom. That'll eat up 15 of your hours right there, big boy. And you're going to enjoy it a lot more than freaking 2 games of Demio. I can tell you that.
So I wonder in Demio, because you have to like pick people up and stuff. If the game were playable with the DualSense, like still in VR, but you could just play with DualSense and like select your character and select how did you want to move and stuff, because it's a turn-based RPG. Do you think if they did that, people would see how relatively shallow the gameplay is?
Oof. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, surely people can't enjoy moving that little character that much, can they? I mean, it's cool, but it's like nothing special. You just lift them, put it over there. Big deal.
I think the lifting, the moving, and the picking up and the setting down enforces this connection you have with the game as a whole of like I'm in somebody's basement and we're playing a game of D&D and I'm moving my character around. And if you were able to do it all through a controller, it would feel kind of like a half-baked Fire Emblem or a half-baked, tactical RPG, Final Fantasy Tactics, something like that.
I also think that it makes it a lot harder. You remember how many times I freaking misplaced my guy because this stupid effing game. Let's move on. We got too much to talk about, too much good stuff to talk about. You have a little mini review. I can't believe we're talking about freaking Gazzlers, but
way to bury the lead, Adam.
The floor is yours, Alex.
Yeah. So if you watched the Golden Stream this past week, I did a Golden Stream. I played some toss to show everybody how I can toss. And then I got worn out from that, so I jumped over to play some Gazzlers. That's a game. Here's the thing about Gazzlers is they know exactly what it is. The developers know exactly what it is. They're not trying to advertise it as being something different than what it is. It's literally on rails arcade shooter is what it is. You got levels you go through, enemies popping up, you shoot them, you go to the next level, bam, bing, bang, boom. Now, it does have some roguelike elements. So every level you finish, you get an upgrade. That could be more ammunition. That could be, faster fire rate. That could be more damage, things like that. That could be stronger shield. The primary mechanism of the game plan is I think they really don't set things up at all, but I'm on the back of a train, looking out the back of the train as we're going down the tracks, and I have a shield in my left hand, I have a pistol in my right hand, and there's these guys, I guess, called Gazzlers, which are like little red monsters. They remind me a lot of like the Rabbids from the Rayman series or Minions from the Minions movies. They have that same kind of behavior, but they're red, and they're riding motorcycles, and they're riding helicopters, and they're riding cars, and they're chasing after us and shooting at me, trying to kill me. I can use my shield, which kind of temporarily blocks for me to block bullets. I can also dodge physically, and I got to shoot the enemies and blow them up, in like a wave type system. But it doesn't feel like a wave shooter because I'm on a train trying to get away. But the game's really fun. It's really fun. It works super well. The enemies, the variety is there. There's different vehicles coming out. There's weak spots you have to hit. The guns change every time you play the game because you get different upgrades. The enemies are like annoying enough to where you want to shoot them, but also kind of cute in that Minions type thing. And it works really well. It looks really good. It looks almost like a Borderlands type aesthetic there. And the music is fine. It's very middle of the road, but it's a $20 game by Otter's Lab.
It's $20. Oh,
it's $20. You will get $20 worth of fun out of it. It's one of those things where I don't have much bad to say about it because it's not trying to do too much. Nothing it's doing is broken. It's really fun. I get the same feeling from this game that I was getting from Space Pirate Trainer on the PSVR 1, and I loved Space Pirate Trainer. When you get in the zone with this game, you don't want to stop playing, and you get a pretty good exercise out of it too, as you're like squatting, dodging, bobbing, weaving, and you get into this flow state. It was really enjoyable, and then you get a good run, and you don't want to stop, but you got to stop because it's getting too late. A fun game. Adam, there's not much to say. What reservations do you have about Gazzlers beyond maybe you just don't like this type of game?
It sounds like a wave shooter.
It is. Why? Yeah, why not? You're shooting waves of enemies.
It's so boring. Like, yeah, maybe you're bobbing and weaving a little bit, but I've never played a wave shooter. I don't feel. Maybe someone masked a wave shooter at some point, and like I didn't realize it was a wave shooter, but it was fun. But I can't think of a wave shooter that I was like, wow, that was worth my time and that was fun.
Crossfire, the wave shooter. You go to a room, you shoot waves of enemies, then you go to the next room,
but you're moving, and it's
okay. I'm on a train and I'm moving the whole time. In Gazzlers,
you yourself aren't moving though. You're just on something that is moving though, right?
I don't see the difference.
There's a big difference, Alex. Don't you give me that bullcrap.
Alex.
Freaking Crossfire, we're physically moving. Again, I use room scale. I don't know if you do, but you're having, it's a bit more strategic. You're hiding behind crap. I mean, you could say Synapse is a wave shooter, but there's so much more to that it's, I mean,
but in Synapse, I'm the wave, baby. I'm the wave.
Listen, if this is anything higher than number 30, I think I'm going to effing lose it.
I think that's a relatively good place to put it. I'm looking at Transformers Beyond Reality. How in the hell did I ever put Transformers Beyond Reality above Tentacular? I honestly don't know.
You talk about how much you like that.
I
That
did. I did
it
really
was
like it.
clever, and it was I mean,
I did really like it. I did really like Tentacular. I think they're about the same area. Let's go ahead and put it below Tentacular. I'm going to put Gazzlers just
gosh,
under Tentacular. It's going to be at
barely
30.
you
It's going to be
barely.
at 31.
I bet Knock just wasn't good. That's our number 31 game. Knock, it was just. I'm sorry. It was just bad. Maybe it's better on PC VR because some people do like it. In PSVR 2, I don't know why it would be better in PC VR, but I did not like Knock. And then everything under Knock is just, it gets bad pretty quick.
So I think the thing about Gazzers is like, what's the worst thing about it is that I can see myself probably getting bored with it if I play about 10 hours, right? Like I'll get all the trophies, whatever.
10 hours?
If I played 10 hours, that would be like the upper limit of how much I could play this game. There's
How
not
long
that
is that
much to it.
game?
You could theoretically get to the end of it in one run, right? It's a roguelike, but it's hard to. You gotta upgrades and make yourself stronger and stuff like that.
That's wild. Okay, so I'll let you pick which one of these next topics you want to dive into. I'll dealer's choice here.
Yeah, let's pick up where we left off in the last segment, Adam. The Unreal Engine 4 VR mod. And I kind of briefly mentioned it. I'll expound upon it a bit more. Adam, there is a guy, I think his name is Prey Dog, or that's his name on the internet. He made this mod that you can add to the games that use Unreal Engine 4. And it basically gives you a tool set to make almost all of them.
Do you want to know what game is Unreal Engine 4?
There's a lot of them. Returnal's one of them.
F that, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
So, let's do it. Let's do it. If I could be Sora and I have the little Keyblade and I just, that would be good.
So here's the caveat. Really, it consists of things like you're allowed to play these games in a virtual space, a VR space. You can adjust where the camera is. I do think there's some functionality to do like 6DoF tracking with your hands so that I can actually aim a gun with my hands and then look independently, that kind of stuff. So it does feel like a full VR game. But a good example is Returnal. Returnal is in this engine. It's been affected by this mod. People can play Returnal in VR now.
That would be fun. That Returnal would be an incredible VR game.
Yeah. And people say it's really good. What they do is you tie your head to some position on the model, and then you have like your VR perspective from that position on the model.
So I could choose it from the crotch.
Yeah, that's where I would play everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at the crotch.
Yeah.
But Returnal's a good one. But the big one that made me think about this, I just saw footage of it, was Sackboy, the adventure, Sackboy's Big Adventure, whatever it's called, that launch title for PS5. That was a really fun platform, a really fun co-op platformer. Had a lot of the charm of like Astrobot, but it's not in VR. And now that it's on the PC, people can play the modded version with VR, and it looks brilliant. It looks like Astrobot. It looks like Astro's Playroom. Would this push you, Adam, as a person who doesn't have like PC VR or any other kind of VR, would this push you into trying to get like some kind of a PC VR system?
It's too much setup. It's too much time, too much money. I would have to drop PSVR and do PC VR. And because of the podcast, because of our history, I can't imagine just dropping PSVR. I already love the PlayStation exclusive games, so I'm going to keep the PlayStation and play the PlayStation. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to also have another headset, although that sounds incredible, and I am jealous because Sackboy sounds incredibly fun. I think maybe Kingdom Hearts wouldn't work, but Abzu is Unreal Engine 4. Yeah. We've got Gears of War. We've got Stray, the little cat. There's one other one here, and I was like, wow, that would be friggin' incredible if we could do that. Oh, Tetris Effect, joke. Final Fantasy VII. I mean, that's Unreal Engine 4. That would be just freaking nuts. I think that would be impossible. Octopath Traveler. I don't even know how that would work. But it might be kind of cool to like move the characters or just be in the environment, right? That's really all you need to make a game totally feel brand new. So that is awesome. Maybe someone does this and Sony will wake up and be like, wow, everyone's not buying they're not buying Horizon Call of the Mountain because they're playing freaking Sackboy. How about we actually make good games and release on the PSVR rather than people not buying the garbage games we keep putting out? That's my thoughts, but I like it.
So that actually brings me to my next point, Adam. I didn't put it on the script here, but the PlayStation blog just released the top selling games of the past, month. And when they do that, they also release, which ones are VR, which games are selling. So the top downloads. And what I want to look at, Adam, is if we look at the top downloads for PSVR 2, it's Five Nights at Freddy's, it's Among Us, it's Beat Saber, it's all these games that we expect, kind of throwaway games we don't want to play too much. You get Synapse down at the bottom, but that's not the big news. The big news for me is this list does not include VR upgrades. If I go look at the PS5 games, top game downloads for December, if I look down the list, sitting at around, who knows, this is what, top 15, top 20, top 15, I think. Sitting at around number 13 is Resident Evil 4, a game that came out in like January of 2023. And for some reason in the month of December, it pops up as one of the most downloaded games on the PS5 store. To me, that looks like there's a lot of VR enthusiasm. A lot of people buying this game for the VR release. Otherwise,
It
why else
has
would
to
they be
be,
buying
right?
it?
Like there's no way it's not.
Yeah, in the UK, it's up to like, or in the EU, it's up to like number 10, or I don't know. Yeah, something like number 10 or 9 in terms of most downloaded games. So obviously, we hear bad news about PSVR all the time. Obviously, a lot of people are buying this game so that it even overcomes a lot of popular flat games and gets on the top sales list for the month. So I think PSVR 2 is doing all right. But the Sackboy thing was notable because what if you suddenly see a huge uptick in people buying Sackboy on the PCVR? That's going to be a clear flagging indicator to Sony that there is an interest, because if you just see an uptick in Sackboy being sold, there's no reason why people would suddenly start buying it unless the VR component's added. Then that'll flag to them, hey, this is something we should do. Obviously, it's possible to do. And maybe there's a through line there to get this done more easily, I hope.
I mean, just make a freaking Astrobot game. That's your freaking answer. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't I don't know what would move the needle for them, but having more games, those type of Sackboy, Astrobot type games lend itself well, but you need to have creativity. You need to have excellent level design, and you kind of need a cute little character. And I think both those have that, but I don't know how many of those type of games are out there, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. But next, I didn't do a lot of research. You
Yeah.
saw at CES 2024 that Sony did release like an AR headset, right? Like a wireless. And it's
Yeah, I'm not
supposed to
sure if I want
combat
to.
the Apple, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to call it an AR headset. I think maybe that's exactly what it is. But Sony showed off at CES 2024 a wireless headset, looked very much like the Quest 3, that's used for industrial purposes, right? Like, engineering. The lenses were both 4K lenses. It was wireless, so just like what people were asking for in terms of the Quest, uses the next generation Snapdragon processing. And they even had these little cool controllers that you like hold in your hand, and it like tracks your index finger or something like that. And then it had a little ring that you wear, which people have played it. I watched some footage of people using the headset, and they really enjoyed it. They said it was an incredible experience and it worked really well. Of course, it's probably some kind of beta version, and I bet it's going to cost $3,000 when it comes out. But I just like to see this because this is Sony showing that, yeah, we could make a wireless headset if we want to. We know how to do that technology. We know how to make this tech work. But they didn't for PSVR 2 because they want that fidelity. They don't want to deal with like battery and stuff like that. But it's just nice to show that Sony is invested in VR in more than one avenue rather than just PSVR 2. So even if PSVR 2 isn't like a runaway huge blow up success, Sony's still got VR technology in their ecosystem. And we might benefit from that on the gaming front, which is where I want to see the strides made in PSVR.
To me, it's just a big middle finger right in the middle of my face. They're like, hey, guess what? We have the technology. We've had it all along. But, F you. You got to have this stupid cord. You want to know what happened to me this week, Alex? I was what I think it was Vertigo 2 I was playing. Guess what? Stepped on the cord as I was moving, ripped the dang headset all the way down on my face, made a whole commotion, a whole big freaking thing. F the cord, get rid of it, or give us the option. I would gladly, I swear, I would maybe take PSVR 1 graphics with the DualSense controllers and have it wireless. I would prefer that than what I have right now. I
My
know not.
question is in reverse. I mean, I understand what you say there, right? Like a drop in fidelity, a drop in visuals for the virtual. What if when the PSVR 2 came out, there were two options? There's the PSVR 2, there's the PSVR 2 Pro. The PSVR 2 Pro, instead of costing $500, costs $700, but it's wireless and it's got a little backpack system. What do you do? Do you
I'm not wearing a
do you,
stupid backpack system. If
no,
it's
no, no, no.
$700,
Battery pack system. Sorry, battery pack
oh,
system.
okay. Yeah, I would buy $700. Not even I wouldn't think about it for a second. Immediately buy the wireless. You could. I'm not even jacking with you. I'm dead serious. You could make it 900. I would pay it. At 1,000, I would have to be like, oh, that's a lot of money. But if I use it enough, yeah, because you'd eliminate the need for a PlayStation. You would eliminate the need to be in a freaking room. You would get rid of the cord. I could play it in the garage. I mean, it would be incredible. But
so here's a wild idea. Let's assume this worked and it worked well enough. Would you pay $200 if somebody made an accessory that made your PSVR 2 wireless? I'm thinking like an access point that you plug into that plugs into the front of your PSVR 2 or your PS5, and then like a battery pack / receiver that you plug the PSVR 2 into, and you have to like put it in your pocket or something like that. Then you'd be room scale.
I mean, I said I would spend 900, so I'll pay $400 for that if it works well. If it's from Sony, I'm not gonna freaking buy something from Winking Entertainment and hope it works. But yeah, I would do that.
What did Winking Entertainment make that got you off on a tizzy?
Oh, nothing. They just made a bunch of those bad games back in PSVR 1, and I'm like, who would like make something jank like that I wouldn't trust? And it's them. I mean, I love them. It's them, but it's them. Speaking of them, Alex, I could really care less about this game. It's coming out in 3 days now, I think. Toy Trains. It does remind me of Trainer VR back on the PSVR 1. Maybe doesn't look quite as fun, but they had a little video that came out on YouTube, and I think we both watched it. I was struggling to focus on the gameplay because I was enamored by the woman who is in this video. And I want to forego any talk about toy trains. I don't care about toy trains. I don't want to play toy trains. I don't care I don't care the release date. I don't care the price. I don't care about it. But you have entered Project Wingman. My Project Wingman. What would it take for me to get this chick's number?
So I saw this in the script and I watched the video too. And yeah, is she your type? If she's your type, then yeah, we can work with this.
I mean, she's not Lebanese. That she has that going against her, but
I just want to make sure that you're talking about people from the country of Lebanon, not incorrectly saying the word lesbian, right?
Yes, people from Lebanon. What? Okay. Lebanese? Does that sound like lesbianese? What are you even? I don't even know what you're talking about. Yes. Regardless, this chick, I don't know what she is. She's got a Colo accent. You guys should go check it out if you're listening. Maybe if I remember,
show notes, yeah.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes in the description. I'll try to put that link there. They're about ready to get a big old uptick of views, and it's all gonna. That's how we do it, guys. You need to help me start a revolution. If they get like a ton of views, like 1,000 views, they're like, this came out like 5 days ago, and it got like 200 views, and now we're at like 1,500. Yeah. What happened? And then they look at all the comments. It was like, here because of Adam, here because of Play PSVR 2, the podcast. they're gonna be like, oh, what did they say? Then they'll get this conversation. They'll be like, oh, he doesn't care about the game, but he liked that lady. You think she's a developer? You think she works for the company? Like, what do you think the deal is here?
Pretty sure. I'm just looking at. I looked at the website, looked at their team. The only woman on the team is this Anya Zorowicz-Skorupka.
Ooh, she Russian?
Polish. They're from Poland,
A Poland. Okay.
and she's the COO of the company. So you kind of got some impressing to do, Adam.
Oh, this chick? It's the same chick?
The COO, I think so. I think I could, and she's in a handful of their videos. Yeah, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure that's her.
she's the coup, huh? She's the coup. All right. So I've had a bunch of videos, so I can just watch them all. And I wonder if her I don't know why you like that, but you did good. Uh I wonder if her demeanor changes, right? Like she was pretty professional in this one, which maybe I like that. I don't know. What were your thoughts? I know you're a married man, so I'm not asking you to be like, oh, she's a babe. But
she was laid back. She had that laid back confidence, I think, and I think it sold you on the game. A little bit blasé, a little bit blasé. Like we know this game is good, and we know you're going to play it. And
I didn't pay attention to the game. I don't know anything about the game.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and to me, looking at the game looks fine, but it doesn't. To me, it's still like you're going to love this anyways. I don't even have to sell it to you. The idea of a VR game where you play with toy trains is certainly something I would need to be sold on. But she presents it as like, yeah, don't worry about it. Guess what? Toy Trains is coming out. It's relaxing. The music is good, and you're going to have a good time when you play it. And it makes you feel relaxed, Adam. And I think that's what you like. Now, Project Wingman coming up here. They have contact information on their website. Adam, would you like for me to arrange a developer interview?
Dude, that would be freaking hilarious. I'm trying to look. Random? Does she have a ring on her finger?
She has a hyphenated last name, which I think spells your doom.
No! Dang it! It's bullcrap. A freaking Poland? Who's Polish?
Poland, yeah.
What are they even known for?
I mean, a lot of video game developers are in Poland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Cyberpunk. They're a Polish developer.
Dude, I would have never guessed this chick was Polish, and I haven't looked. I looked at this several days ago and then wrote this, added it to the script.
Wait, did you write a letter? Oh no, okay. I thought you were about to read like a letter you wrote to me that you were going to send to her.
Oh, no. No, I opened this again to see if she was wearing a ring. She is attractive. That's just how it is. How old do you think she is? I'm horrible with in real life, every woman I hit on is like 24. I can't figure it out. And one time there was someone and she had to be like, I don't know, 40, which is, a little outside the range I was looking for, So I'm bad with ages. Wait, let me guess. And then you tell me what you think. I would put her at 36.
Yeah, I'd say mid 30s, maybe. Yeah.
Can you be a coup that early?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
It seems pretty young,
I've never seen you fall so hard, Adam.
Well, I'm just curious now.
I think you already
screwed me because you said she has a hyphenated name. So maybe that's how people do. Can you check? Maybe that's how people in Poland do it.
I will say my in-law, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they combined their names with a hyphenated last name. If they had a child, I'm not sure what the name of the child would be. It could just be that those are her parents' names. Who knows?
I think we ask her on the podcast. Say it has to be her. We don't want anyone else.
This is a podcast dedicated to talking to coups.
It's only a coup, and then I don't say anything. I just watch, and then you carry out the entire interview, and then at the very end, I'll be like, "Hey," and then I'll just be like, "Hey, if you need anything, here's my personal number." And then, what is the virtual? There's that thing you do sometimes in dating where you leave something at someone's apartment on purpose, so you have to meet you again or something. How can I do that virtually?
just like you did for the 17-bit dudes that made Song in the Smoke, you got to send her a 3D printed statue of the tentacle boob lady, PSVR tentacle boob lady.
But that doesn't ensure anything in return. That she may just be like, okay.
How would you not respond to somebody if they sent you that?
Probably not in a good way. I don't know if that's the thing I want to send.
It's not the quality of the return; it's the assurance of the return.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, if she's a professional coup, then she may
she might be getting those all day, every day, right?
Or that, and she may be like, "That's a little unprofessional. I don't like that." And
but she's looking for that in her life, Adam. She's looking for a man to come and knock her off that professional pedestal. A man who will.
I'm really glad you continued that sentence.
Who will arrive?
Maybe she wants a green card to America.
That's absolutely not. I think they're more than happy in Poland.
Are you serious? Yeah, what does Poland have? Give me one thing.
Something random VR game development studio where
what
people
is
can
Poland
make a toy
known for? That's what I'm Googling. Oh, they got the Wizarka salt mine, and they've got vodka and kielbasa and Auschwitz and Pope John Paul II and the Chopin Memorial and Krakow and some type of cheese and Warsaw. You're telling me that's going to be a life with me in America and play PSVR 2, the podcast? She could be a weekly host. We've been trying to get into the women's scene for a long time, and we just can't. We don't know how to do it. So let me know, guys. Do you find her attractive? Do you think that Poland is that great? Give me some hope here, because everyone else I talk to is too young, and I feel weird. Alex, I'm done. That was my that's my end of the podcast spiel.
All right. Well, something random VR development studio. If you're listening to this, my buddy Adam would like to talk to your COO. But that's it for this episode of Play PSVR 2, the podcast. We're running out of time here. Contact us at contact@playpsvr.com. Leave us a comment on YouTube. Leave us a review on iTunes. We love you all. And have a good night. Talk to you next time on PSVR 2, the podcast, where virtual reality is our reality. Blammo!